Jessica here. I just want to walk you through some of the thought processes and things that we're thinking about as we move to redesign the user profile as well as the regular profile that you see whenever you look at someone else's account. So both your profile and then the other users. Here is RYSE as is right now. This is May 19th. And, we didn't put a lot of time in the profile from the beginning because it's not something that was crucial to our, app. The user profile was not really used, and we didn't really have any core features or functionality that would have even been in the profile. So it didn't make sense at the time to really dedicate a lot of time, thought, or resources to developing it. But now that we have our kind of core foundational features completed, or at least near complete and working, it's time for us to revisit the profile because it's becoming a place that we want to be kind of like a, I guess, crucial landing point whenever a user goes to learn about or copy a workout or a meal or something from someone else. And given, communication and community is a pillar of RYSE and what we're really trying to accomplish with the app and provide for our user base, just having that point of communication to kick off, such like the profile, it's becoming a lot more important. So this is the profile today. So I'm logged in and I'm down here on the bottom right. I clicked to navigate to my own profile. The nav is a little bit weird here, but as you can see, there's a lot of white space up top. So that's something that you don't want to pack everything in so that it looks like a wall of text, but you do, given it's mobile, you want to make good use of the space that you have. And people may not be that interested in how many followers are following, and maybe my bio, you read it once, you get the point. So taking up this, almost a third of the screen with this information is something that is a bit wasteful. So we did at least implement this little, it looks kind of weird on the web emulator, but whenever you scroll up to a certain point, it will at least shrink the profile down, so it kind of increases the real estate so you can actually see more of the post. But still, it is a kind of a waste of space. So that's something that we're looking to improve. So currently in RYSE, you have the ability to not only make posts for your current workout, so if you go to the gym, you can make a workout post, or your meal. We have daily, full day of eating, meal tracking. You can also create a workout routine. So right now in the profile, if you click on this little dumbbell, these are the pre-created workout routines that on my profile, like I've already created this. You do this by clicking create workout, and then it's essentially like a workout post, but this is one that is almost like a routine, like template. So if I go to log a workout, I can choose from these workout routines that I've created for myself and or copied from others. That way I can just, fill them in at the gym. I'm not having to click around and decide like, okay, what exercise am I going to do today for shoulders or whatever. So you have your, workout routines, and then you also have the ability to share meals. So similar to the workout routine, you can click create meal under this tab, and right now we just called it the pantry, but that's kind of leftover, verbiage from before when we were initially thinking of this. But I have meals, so if this is like a frequent meal that I eat, I don't have to worry about, looking up those individual foods whenever I go to log a meal and track it for the day. I can just click on this and all of the appropriate foods will be added to that meal, and it just makes it a lot easier, as well as if someone asks me like, hey, what are some common things you eat, I can point them to my meals, and they can either, interact by copying it to their own pantry in this case, or, using it in one of their meal posts if they want. The pantry for now also includes some of the foods that you've saved. So if you eat this particular thing a lot, for instance, for me, a lot of people will ask me, like, what are your favorite protein sources? Instead of having to remember them, I can just point them to my pantry and they would be able to see it for themselves. Currently, it doesn't have any fancy search or filtering, but that's something that we want to add in the future. So that's kind of the idea behind the pantry, the meals, and then the workouts. It's just a place where you can pre-create things that you're going to continuously use whenever you make posts or whatever. Now, you can see that the profile already has quite a bit of information, and that's only two core features. So the whole, workout routines, and then the meals and the saved or favorited foods, as well as this tab right here is for the timeline. So any of the posts that I've made, this one's a private post, but any of the posts that I've shared, they would be listed here the same way that if you clicked on the home button, you would have your following and then the global feed. So, I'm following everybody on the app, so that's why my global matches. But for instance, if I go to this person's profile, so I can look at Debbie's profile, and it looks kind of similar for the most part to mine. So I can see the feed of all of her posts. I can see if she has any saved workouts. She currently does not. And then also her meals. So it's pretty consistent. But even then, there's not, even though it has a lot of information in the profile, it's just not, very flexible. There's already so much here on the screen. If we add any more, it's going to definitely be a lot more overwhelming. So that's another reason why we want to go ahead and start just thinking through a redesign so that we can make room, make the features that we already have available through the profile more accessible and discoverable, and also so that we can make room for other features and functionalities that we would like to, try out in there. So I'm going to share, let me show so this is the current Instagram profile this is my profile. This is actually a screenshot that I took a little bit ago, but as you can see, it's pretty similar to what we have given some of the, core elements of a profile when you think about, pretty much any social media platform. Actually, I'll grab, here is, on the right is the one that TikTok has. So it's pretty much the same. You have, the user profile, you have their username, and then, whatever bio type information, and then the ability to edit, as well as information about, following, followers, and then likes, or whatever. But, you have some type of numerical, like a count of followers and following. And then if you go to the bottom, they have that same type of grid setup where you can see the actual posts that that person has shared on their profile. And then on the bottom is a core app nav bar. So that is similar to what we have. Let me show a screenshot of our profile. So side by side, you can definitely see that, across the board, across pretty much, you can go look at any Twitter or whatever, Facebook, social media, you'll see the same kind of core elements. So that's something that, maybe someone would interpret that as, oh, copying, or it's not creative or whatever. Why are you wanting to copy what some of the other apps are doing? And that's definitely one way to think about it. But another way is, we are a small team of two, and we're just starting, building this app. Whereas TikTok and Instagram, like they have millions or, billions of dollars and probably 100,000 plus people working behind the scenes on these two apps. And it's not a coincidence that they have similar features, functionality, and layouts, and that the UX is similar. There's a lot of, I guess like trial and error and learning that goes into even deciding like, hey, does it make sense to make a bottom navigation, or is a top nav better? And these apps and these companies, like they're not stupid, right? Like they're obviously investing time, money, and effort into making the best experience possible. And they all have, changed things around and learned. And that's why, for us, it makes sense to kind of mimic what they've done, because they've already spent time validating that this is a good, user experience, that people understand it. And for us, like, we're not trying to break the mold here and invent some new crazy way of displaying a user profile. Like that's not the core purpose of the app. So in order to, just allocate time and resources better, it makes sense for us to just kind of, take a look at what's working for other people and try to incorporate it into our app. And the other benefit is that whenever a user hits our profile for the first time, or downloads our app, if it has some of these similar kind of foundational UX patterns, the app will become, the app will be more intuitive. So even if it's someone's first time, like most social media apps utilize, a home button or a scrollable timeline that shows posts. So we don't have to spend any time teaching anyone how to do that. They just jump in and immediately know. So for us, that's extremely beneficial. And yeah, that's my that's my tangent on why, what some people think is copying is actually, the right and the smart move, if you're not trying to, invent some crazy new experience or something. So one thing that is like a key difference between RYSE and some of these other social media platforms is that, for us, we really believe that anyone can not only be inspired by anyone else in their community or who they are following, we believe each person has the power to inspire someone else as well. And, they do that through sharing content. And, on some of these apps like Instagram or TikTok, not everyone's comfortable being a content creator. And that's okay. Like that's normal and that is perfectly okay. And on RYSE, we are empowering people to be creators by taking their everyday practices like logging a meal, using a meal tracking, or logging a workout, tracking their exercise progress. We take that and we create content, shareable content out of that. So each person, if you're using RYSE, like whether you realized it or not, you have now become a content creator. And something that, if you're going to help to inspire or, share this content, share your journey with others in your RYSE community, your content needs to be extremely discoverable. And discoverability is something that, if you are, I guess the way to explain it is whenever you want to find something, like, if it's a piece of content and it doesn't have it's not public, or okay, then suddenly no one's going to be able to search Google and find your content. Or maybe it is public, but you didn't use any tagging, or the SEO is, not so great on your wherever you're hosting it, or you don't have even a title, or whatever. So the discoverability is going to be very low for your content. And that's something that on Instagram, like whether you are a million follower creator or someone, like me, who doesn't, like, I'm not trying to be a big creator or whatever on Instagram, it doesn't matter. Like the discoverability has been historically difficult for Instagram posts. And I guess a way to prove that, what I'm saying is at least valid is Instagram just now introduced like search strings. So it wasn't until recently that you could actually type into the search right here, I don't know, breakfast recipes. Like you had to search single word like hashtags or a specific location or a specific account. And it was really hard to find actual content. Like they were more of a, hey, you kind of went down the rabbit hole of the timeline or the Discover page back when they had the Discover page, or you stalked an account and kind of went down, line to a bunch of other accounts, and then you just happened to discover this content. That's kind of what Instagram had for a long time. But they've recently kind of expanded their search and they are getting a lot better, but discoverability definitely wasn't like, and I mean specific content discoverability. I think they were more focused on you just finding people like, on the timeline or something. But that's not what we want. And if you go to the Instagram like profile, if you go to your own profile and you look at all of the posts that you've made, unless you've kind of done like on TikTok how you have the covers that you can add with some words to kind of give the user some context before they click on it into like what this is. Unless you've added that, like no one can really look at your post and know exactly what kind of content that is. For instance, here is the expanded view of my profile on Instagram. You can see all of the posts that I've made. Like for all anyone would know, I mean, this post right here of me working out, like this could be, I don't know, a food post. Like I could have some crazy amazing recipe in this post, but nobody would know that from looking at my profile. And this food post, maybe this is like a great arm workout, but like no one's gonna know that if they're on my profile looking for arm workouts on Instagram. Like I highly doubt anyone would click this one. They'd maybe click this one. So that is not a bad thing for Instagram, because I think for them, I mean, as we know, like Instagram wants to keep you on the profile. They want to keep you in the app. They want to keep you, they focus on, viral content and just, kind of losing yourself in the content, like losing track of time. Like, oh, I've been, deep on Instagram for a while. I'm just randomly going down different rabbit holes, and it's almost like a time suck. And that sounds negative, but that's kind of what Instagram wants. And that's what a lot of apps want. They want you to be there, like using it and like diving deeper and deeper, and maybe going, oh shit, I just, was on Instagram for like 2 hours. So where'd the time go? But that's actually not what we are trying to do on RYSE. You should be spending time with your community or working out or eating or, living your freaking life. Like we don't want people to just be sucked into the app. Like the app has purpose, and that's why we have, limitations on what types of things you can post. Like, we're not trying to be viral. Like the content isn't geared towards just being like viral or like sucking you into a time suck. So anyways, a lot of things to say that discoverability and giving people the ability to immediately go to your profile, navigate to what they are looking for and find it, like accomplish whatever goal they had, that's something that is like a value of ours and that we want to provide to our users. We don't want people to have this experience like on Instagram where they navigate, maybe they have something in mind that they're looking for, but hey, there's a million things presented at me. I'm not really sure where to look, so I'm just going to click here and here and here and here, and who knows, maybe I'll end up down some other crazy rabbit hole on someone else's profile. But yeah, that's not what we're trying to achieve. So that is definitely going to be a key difference in some of the design decisions that we're making as we look to redesign our profile. So this is, so I'm showing you Figma, and this is the tool that I've been using to do just, designing new components or pages or whatever, as well as it has like a prototyping tool, and that's what I use to build this stuff. So I am not a pro by any means. I literally started learning whenever we were, first wanting to build out this app, and I'm learning more and more every day. And it's yeah, so if if it's ugly or if I could do things better, I 100% agree, and I 100% invite your, feedback or any suggestions that you have on getting better and getting faster, because that would definitely be helpful. Anyways, here, let me put these side by side. So here's a screenshot on the left of the current RYSE profile, and then this is what we're thinking about on the right. So let me go ahead and run this. Okay, so this is the prototype kind of running. You can see that this is scrollable. And I'll just keep going back and forth. So on the old profile, you would see both the top nav, which had the hamburger menu that had kind of the app settings or whatever, the logo, and then the heart, which is the notifications icon, and then you would have your profile in the middle, and then at the bottom was the bottom nav. So we've decided to remove the top nav, and the reason why is it just takes up a lot of space, and I'll get more into like the notification thing, but it takes up a lot of space, and we figured that if you're on your profile, like you can press, you'd press the home screen, you'd get back to that main view, and that, I feel like that's okay because the hamburger menu on the left of the top nav, it has app settings and things that are kind of one-off. So like, for instance, you can access our terms of service or the EULA or report a bug or whatever in the app. There are things that aren't really like used all the time. It's kind of like a one-off thing. So taking up, precious mobile real estate with access to that, like, just doesn't make sense. It's not like a good use of space. And then the logo, of course, like as of right now, if you click on it, it doesn't do anything. It's not functional. But so that was just another thing that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And then it's all of this stuff is one click away if you click on the home button, or you could like swipe over to it. I think Android does that. I guess iPhone does that too. But and then the notifications I'll get into in a moment, but because that's something that I'm still currently going back and forth on. But anyways, this is what we're thinking for the new profile. So you'll see the profile picture. It's been enlarged because the current one right now is a little bit too small. I mean, no one can really see what you're working with right there. So we want to enlarge that a little bit. And then also if you click on it, make it so that it expands so that people can actually see your profile photo that you want to, represent you. And then making better use of the white space while still not making it too crowded. So that means up top is just the person's, first name. And in this case, I'm looking, you're seeing the view if you or me, and this is your profile. So this is like the actual user's profile. You see the full name up top, the RYSE handle, and then a little bio. Of course, we're going to have to limit the character count on the bio. I think Instagram's is like 120, 150, something like that. But you don't want it like stretching down too far. And then just the same profile type counts. So following and followers, and I wanted to add this posts right here, a post count, because it's just one way to let you know that that person is active. If you see 0 posts, like maybe that's not somebody that you want to follow, or if they followed you and they don't have any posts, like maybe that's someone that you don't want to follow you. I don't know. But I think that's important because it's just a really tiny, easy way to indicate to somebody that you are active and engaged and, actually using RYSE for what it is. Same edit profile button up here on the right, and that would open a whole nother, edit profile menu or whatever. Maybe that's where you change your profile photo. I think currently if you change your profile photo, it's in there, as well as changing the bio and other stuff. You'll also see up top this photo. So this is like Facebook cover photo. And I really like that because I like the cover photo because it's another way to kind of show some personality on your page, um, and just brings a little bit more like color and unique kind of style to each of the profile pages without being like MySpace, where every single page was different. You didn't really know how to navigate, blah, blah, blah. But the person can kind of customize it to what they want to represent themselves as. So I would like to add something like this. And yeah, that's not me. That's it's a stock photo. So yeah, but this would be configurable by the person. You could upload your own thing. And if you don't upload one, then I was going to default it to something like this right here, some type of RYSE, like little graphic or whatever. But hopefully people will upload something. We're keeping the same tab kind of core navigation in the app or profile. So you will automatically be on the summary tab, like that's the default one. And then there is a tab for posts. And eventually I would like to add a tab for insights, which I'll have to do a separate video to kind of cover what that's all about. But yeah, it's going to be the same kind of tabbed thing where summary is the one that is immediately selected because, if I'm going to my own profile, I already know what my posts are. Like they're my posts. I don't need to, that's not the main thing I need to see because, yeah, like those are, I created those. I know what those are. So I think having the summary selected is a good move. And going back to what I was saying around like discoverability and the ability for someone to go to your profile or go to whoever's profile and actually find the information that they're looking for, like specific things. And then also just the fact that we have a few more features that are going into the app that will need to be accessible via the profile. So that's kind of why we need to make this extra space. Let me show you what that is. So on the summary below here, I'm not sure what the ordering would be, but this is, just for the sake of the prototype. We have groups, so that's actually a new feature that will be coming soon. And this would be completely scrollable, and I'll show you how up top this profile will actually look a little bit different as you scroll, and I'll show you an example. But yeah, as you scroll down, you can see that I have my groups, and you could click this to go view all of them. I have my routines. So this would be like the workout routines that I've created. And this is, all of these are horizontal scroll to try to make better use of, the space instead of having a vertical scroll of, endless vertical scroll. And you could click to expand to navigate to another page to actually view a more in-depth like routine, group, or meal look. And maybe there's more. I mean, hopefully not. I think 3 categories is pretty good, but yeah, so you get the point. And then very similar to, let me go here, oh, that's not the real thing. In the workout area, you can click it to create workout. That would be, kind of similar here. You could create a routine or you could create a meal. Yeah, so that's the basic profile. And then whenever you scroll to a certain point, so right now in the RYSE app, like when you scroll, let's see, here it will shrink up to try to make more room for the actual content and, shrink the profile down. So that's what would happen here as well. So this is the full expanded profile, if we scroll, then it would go up into this where you would just see their background, like cover, their handle, the edit profile button, and then I don't know, maybe, let me see, where's that? I don't know if that little profile thing would stay there or not, but for now, because I thought it would look a little bit empty if I took that away, but whatever. That's it. And then, of course, if you click, that was clicking on summary. If I click on posts, then this would be the timeline view. And eventually we want to change their timeline around, but not right now, so it's just going to stay the same. So that was my walkthrough of like how your user profile actually looks. And this is going to be on the left here. So this is like your user profile if you were logged into RYSE. And then right here on the right is if you navigate to another, let's say it's someone that you're following, this would be their profile. So keeping it consistent, because we want to, like if you're familiar with using and navigating your own profile, then when you navigate to someone else's, we want to have that same familiarity so you immediately know, hey, if I want to see their meals, like it would be here, or if I want to see their latest posts, it would be on this post tab. So keeping some of the same functionality, but of course, since this is their profile, you're not going to see the, create routine or whatever. And then another thing is instead of the edit profile up top, you see the following button, and then a kind of more menu, same new cover photo type thing, and then there is a back nav button, which is important because this is a nested page, whereas my profile is a core, like a main page. So you can always get to this page, my profile page, by clicking the bottom right profile button in the nav bar. You can't navigate to someone else's profile via this bottom nav directly. So it's important to just give them this back button capability so they can just click back and go back to whatever page they're on. So nothing groundbreaking there. It's pretty basic. And let me see. So let me find a post from someone else. So currently in the app, if you go to someone's profile, the unfollow button is pretty easy to accidentally click, which sure is great if you actually want to unfollow someone, but then not so great if you just accidentally click it. And again, lots of wasted white space up here. But so that's something that we're going to change is, let me show this. Okay, so this is the demo of someone else's profile. If I click the following, it's just going to open this little pop-up thing that says, oh, gives you options like unfollow the person, and then you have to click it. That way it's more, what's that word? Like, it's more intentional, and you're not going to just accidentally click that, hopefully. But yeah, so that's one little change that I think would be helpful. And then of course you see the same like follower following post count, and this is of course scrollable. And yeah, so I'm not going to talk in this one about groups because that's a bit different. And that feature is not out yet, but I do want to talk about just kind of the back and forth that I've been having with this user notifications, the little heart. So in this prototype, you can see that it's on the bottom. And in the app currently, I actually changed this. Well, no, I moved something else the other day. But anyways, in the app currently, it's on the top. And if we look at the proposed redesign, I've put it in the bottom. And the reason why is because, if you get a notification, it has that little red dot like indicator right here. And it's kind of common across any social media platform. Like if you see that dot, it's a notification, it's something that you need to click on and then, do something about. So it's a very clear like call to action to people. And the whole notification system, like the boosts and comments and everything, like that's all part of the community aspect and the communication aspect that RYSE is really centered on. So it's really important. And initially I was thinking, like it needs to always be available. And if we, remove this top nav from these nested or even the profile page, like you're not going to know that you have a notification unless you go back to the home screen, like where the way it is currently. So by removing this top nav, like I wanted to do, I was concerned that you wouldn't be able to see your notifications, and maybe you'd be on your profile or someone else's and you would just have no idea that anyone liked your page or your last post or whatever. So I was worried about that, and I think right now, I think I'm actually going to leave it where it is because the top right corner is just where your eyes like go in an app. And maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's because of the recent Instagram changes. So here's Instagram, and this is when you're on the home screen or the home page, and you can see in the top right there's the little notification with the same like little red indicator. And I even have my chats and messages up there. And whenever you navigate to any inner pages, so for instance, if I go to my profile on Instagram, like I don't have any indication that I have a notification. And I was wondering if they give you a kind of push notification or something like in-app that tells you, and they don't because I tested it. So you actually have no idea about your notifications until you click this home button to go back. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. I actually think that part of the motivation behind it is they wanted you to get lost in the content or whatever you were doing, and they didn't want you to be almost like, I don't want to say distracted, but they didn't want you to break focus on whatever you were doing, because that whatever you were doing was probably going to keep you on the app for a long time. And then most people have a habit of going back to the home screen before they close Instagram and checking to see if they have any notifications. And let's say you've been reading content for an hour, didn't know you had a notification. If you go back and check that, you're going to see that you had one, and maybe that's going to keep you on the app a bit longer. So I can kind of see their motive behind it. And although we're not trying to be like viral or like a time suck type app, I don't know if, always presenting people with that type of notification and quick gratification or whatever that we've all come to know in Instagram or in social media in general, like, I'm not sure if that's something that we'd want to do. Like, always having it visible down here, like, would it be distracting from the actual content that you're trying to consume or not? Or is it, if we do move it and keep it up top in the nav bar and then make these changes, like, is that going to lead to people never checking their notifications or something? I don't know, but that's something that maybe we can measure. We can see like how, like, if the notification checking like goes down in our user base or not. I don't think it will, but I don't know. So anyways, that's like a change that I'm actually going to make that's not reflected here in the prototype. I'm going to keep this guy in the top nav. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. I guess basic summary is looking at what is clearly working, which is showing in Instagram and TikTok, and just being, you're not trying to reinvent the wheel, or if the piece of functionality or feature, in this case the profile page, like if that's not a core piece of your app or like some big groundbreaking feature or whatever, like it doesn't make sense to try to be innovative in that space if it's not going to make drive a lot of value or make a big difference in your app. You should dedicate your time, resources, brain power, whatever, to making innovative design decisions or whatever on the things that actually matter and that are fundamental or whatever to your app, not some basic stuff like that. So that's why we're kind of mimicking some of this. But again, we are introducing a little bit more discoverability and kind of organization in the app, and that's a bit different than Instagram. But let me know what you think, and stay tuned, because I'll start working on this profile and like actually writing the code today, and we'll be rolling out some of these changes soon. So thank you for watching and listening, and we will talk through another feature in the next video. Bye. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you. Is anyone gonna make it this far? I don't know, but if you did, I appreciate you. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe, double, dislike, whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. This was my first stab at doing a kind of overview of my thought process when it comes to thinking about, just a feature design or even a redesign. So thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out RYSEapp.io on Instagram. Give us a follow if you can, and if you want to see some of the historical just behind the scenes stories and stuff leading up to this point, check out my personal Instagram, which I have linked or shown the link for. It's at Jessica Wood. The I is a period. And you can check out my highlights where I've been kind of, keeping a vlog, I guess, of this whole process. And also, if you would like to be part of our beta is live for both iOS and Android. You can access the beta via that QR code or go to ryseapp.io and send, put in your email and then you'll get access to the beta. However, if you do need Android access, just shoot me a DM so I can set that up for you. But it's open, we've got users, and we would love to have you. Thanks, catch you later.